Hi.
Welcome to actual real life hell. This is the FC Pauli English podcast. My name is Trevor, and this is
Luke. Hello,
Luke.
Everyone. How are you doing, Trev?
I'm good, man. Just got back from football. My legs are dying. Missed you. How's the injury treating you?
It was getting better until I tried to play again last week. As you can remember, in the third match, I fucking felt like a bag of shite. The ankle was done again. I don't know. It's just one of those things, you know.
It's always, it just needs a week longer, right? If I'd left it a week longer, it'd been fine. But
yeah, I'm getting dog's abuse from one of my mates for constantly being on the injury list. He thinks I'm faking it or something.
Yeah, I guess you're just intimidated by being on the same pitch as me. That might be it.
That must be it, yeah.
Yeah, the session was good tonight. My legs are aching. I'm a 37-year-old man still hanging in there, but I guess the time will come where my legs are just dying. So yeah, you keep playing as long as you can, right?
Exactly, yeah, until the wheels fall off.
Yes.
Which they
exactly.
inevitably will.
I've still got some leaves on my head, so my hair's still quite thick, so it's all good. Good. So did you get up to much on the weekend?
It was just full of football, really. Zweite Bundesliga, bit of Premier League. It was all pretty disappointing. I don't know why I gamble with my emotions like this every weekend and just let football decide whether or not I'm going to be miserable for the next week. It seems a little bit stupid at this point, but I go crawling back every weekend.
Yeah, it's a cruel mistress.
Certainly is, yeah. And we got two matches to talk about because there was a midweek cup game against Freiburg where we put up a good fight, actually. Took them the extra time after conceding in the last minute. I mean, we pretty much outplayed them for the initial 90, and then another last minute goal in extra time just to really twist the knife.
It's brutal.
And then the cherry on top of the shit cake came at the weekend whenever we lost away to Darmstadt 2-0, who were rock bottom of the league at the time. Bielefeld, yeah.
Shad's up next. Yeah.
Darmstadt's next. I've got Darmstadt on the mind.
Yeah. Because you're forward thinking, right? Because the disappointment and absolute misery of the last weekend's like, put out your mind, focus on what's coming up. But no, unfortunately, it was bottom of the league, had lost 3 in a row. Arminia Bielefeld, they beat us 2-0. Yeah, as it goes.
Deservedly as well, huh? Like, I mean, we were better for the first half. Maybe not even the first half. Might have even only been the first 30 minutes. We didn't put them to bed, and we paid for it. We've seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, first half the Freiburg game. Should we do the Freiburg game first? The Freiburg game played really well. Like as you said, is a last-minute equaliser from the Bundesliga team, Freiburg. Ginter at the back post, who'd had his nose smashed in as well. He's bleeding everywhere, and I think he'd just been I think he was going to go off as well because he'd been injured or fouled in their own penalty area, and it looked like he was going to go off. He's cramping up and stuff, and then he ended up getting an equaliser at the back post. Typically, again, it is a ball bounced around like crazy, floats to the back post and nodded it in. Very frustrating. Anything that could have gone better for us there? Do you remember?
There were a couple of missed opportunities, obviously, from our strikers, which we've become accustomed to. But you can't really fault them at all. Everybody worked really hard. Obviously, tough opposition away from home as well, and they're flying in the Bundesliga. Everybody ran their absolute bollocks off, which might have contributed to a somewhat lacklustre second half in the next match against Bielefeld.
The only change to the team was Conor Metcalf missing out because Saliakas was back. Conor Metcalf was awesome against Freiburg. I thought he was going to get the nod to start because he was really impressive, to be fair. And then he only got 20 minutes or so against Arminia Bielefeld, but he was really good.
I think he only got like less than 10 minutes against Bielefeld, which is, we'll get onto that because that was something that really pissed me off whenever I was watching the matches, how long the subs took to come on. But
Yeah.
getting ahead of ourselves here. So we got taken the extra time, and we'd already, like, the team had already worked their arse off for the first 90 minutes. So
I think
that
Schultz
must have
made
been
a
a real
change too,
sickening.
because he brought Bifus on for, was it Matanovic? Because Matanovic came on and they got taken off, so he was pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
And then so Bifus was a defensive, strategic substitution, and as Matanovic was walking past the St. Pauli goal, is when they scored, because he had to walk around the pitch because he went off the far side. Rather than wasting time and coming to the byline, maybe the referee told him to go off there, whatever. So it happened that quickly. So then we had no striker really on the pitch, I don't think. And then Bifus was 6 defenders or something on the pitch, and it's like, shit, rejig.
Yeah, it's tough that, whenever a manager makes changes to a team to try and make them more defensively solid and see out a match, and then they go and concede in the last minute, and all of a sudden you've got this side out there. You have to go play another 30 minutes and try and be, proactive and actually go out there and get a winner. But the personnel are just not set up for that.
Yeah.
At the time, we had just so many defensive players on the pitch, but we can't get away from the fact that man to man they were great. Like the team were fantastic.
Impressive. You could see Chire as well, who came on at half time. The manager threw 4 players on at half time, so obviously they realised that St. Pauli had the upper hand, which is testament to. And then I think Chire had a shot within 20 seconds, and he was shooting at will. I don't know how many chances he specifically had, but fortunately he didn't get any of them. But it's good to see him. He was.
And we should mention that we kept the same formation that did wonders against Hasval. So again, Smith was in the middle of a back 3 with wing backs either side, and again Smith was great. His presence of mind on the ball was fantastic. His crossfield passes really offered a lot as well. And we mentioned it on the last podcast about, it might suit us playing a team like Freiburg because they are so good that they won't just sit deep, and it means that we might get some more opportunities in transitional moments. And it came to pass, especially Dashi's goal, where he just nicked the ball on the halfway line and just went one-on-one with the keeper. He nearly fucked it up now. The keeper got a hand to it, but no, it was a good goal.
I didn't see that bit, because first, he was in a very, very similar position just before that, right? Where he squared to Amenido, and Amenido kicked it at the keeper. He couldn't miss, but he managed to. It's just his luck at the moment. He just can't seem to buy a goal. But he did everything right. Dashner pulled the defenders over. Amenido had space. Just couldn't convert it. But it's coming. They've been linking up quite well lately. What do you think?
Amenido's a frustrating one because he does do a lot of good things. It's just his touch is pretty ropey and his finishing is fuck. I mean, I don't know.
It was on display against Bielefeld. I know we're jumping game to game, but against Bielefeld, Amenido, so many bad touches or trying too much or control was woeful. Whether he's just really tired, probably, or not warmed up properly. I don't know, but something was wrong. Something was off. Everything was bouncing off, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I think I keep on getting both these games mixed up. But was it against Freiburg where he had that insanely good chance one-on-one with the keeper, and he hit it straight at him?
I think so.
My God, that it reeks of a striker with no confidence, and that could probably go for every striker in the team right now.
It's a shame. It was a Dashner again, both games, right? Who was our biggest goal threat, I think, against Arminia Bielefeld. Very, very similar against Freiburg, where he stole the ball from a defensive error and then broke free down the right-hand side, pulled the defenders over. I think Amenido was trying to get into a similar position again, so peeling off on the back. And then Dashner drilled it towards the goal. The keeper parried it, and it landed in the middle, but Amenido was a bit further out. and then defenders were able to recover. But it was carbon copy of the 2 games. But Dashner looked lively. He's trying to break it down.
Yeah, he does. He does well. Cutting off those passing lanes for that the centre backs are trying to find their midfielders. He does well at cutting those out. It's just that our strikers have to do so much work pressing and chasing down defenders that if we do win it back, they're often not in the positions that you want them to be. Like as you mentioned, whenever Dashner was pouring forward there, just trying to hit them on the counter. To be fair, Bielefeld got men back and around the ball, sort of suffocated him, and he just had to have a pot shot. But you would have hoped to have had his strike partner, Arminia, a bit closer to him, so that maybe they could play a 1-2 or something and find a bit more space. But it seems to be that whenever the opposition has the ball, their primary focus, maybe as it should be, is just winning it back, which might be to the detriment of their positional play.
Yeah, but as long as you then use the ball wisely as well, because there's winning it back, but then it's that transition of play from defence to attack. And that's what we're missing right now. Because in the first half, we were very good at Bielefeld. We should say which game we're talking about. Freiburg couldn't fault. They played well. Are we done with Freiburg now? We're out the cup.
Again, we played that formation paid dividends again, having Hartel a bit further forward, which I liked. Yeah. And Afiz was amazing again, intercepting, breaking down play. So
in Freiburg,
got to give them against Freiburg.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think
let the moaning commence. Let's move on to.
Freiburg. Everything was good. Very unlucky to concede the last lapse of concentration, whatever it may be. But Freiburg were a better team, and then ultimately saw the game out. We're out the cup. Let's focus on the league. Up next, Arminia Bielefeld. Bottom of the league, not 1 in 3. Lost all 3, actually. But then on the flip side, St. Pauli have not won back-to-back games. So obviously beat Haasfar, if you remember that. It's so long ago, feels like it. And haven't won away so far this season. And that remains to be the case.
Yeah, it does. We did mention at the start that the first 45 or 30 minutes were good, which is a positive. But once again, I hate to hark back to this, but if you're a St. Pauli fan, you'll know this is our main issue, and we've been fucking shouting it from the rooftops since, I don't know, game week 3, game week 4. We just can't fucking score. Like, our strikers just, not only can they not put the ball in the back of net, you also just see so many of our promising attacks break down once it gets into that forward line. We're relying on our midfielders who themselves, they're good players, but they're not known for their attacking acumen, like Irvine, Hartel, Afiz, especially Afiz. They're not known to get fucking even 10 goals in a campaign. So it's again another worrying sign in this trend.
It's interesting that, our best chances fell to Jackson Irvine with a volley. Hartel threw on goal, who then drew a save from goalkeeper, who celebrated like he just won the World Cup, mind. But it was a good save, fair enough, because I think he used to play, Hartel used to play for, Arminia Bielefeld, so maybe there's that element to it as well. But other than that, I can't think of Arminia having...
There was one member, Jackson Irvine put one across the face of goal, and he was stretching for it.
Yes, and he's sliding him. Yes.
Yeah, and for some reason he left his feet to try and dive and volley at it almost, he tried to just get a toe on the end of it instead of, just staying on his feet and trying to maybe run in and get a diving header on it. It was, I don't know, a weird technique.
Maybe he didn't want to collide with a post or something, because it's getting close. I don't know.
With his form, you'd think he would fucking happily sacrifice that to get in the score sheet.
Yeah, right. Just put his life on the line.
But as you said, we did have chances to score and put the game to bed in the first half.
A couple, but in the second half, the thing that confused me most was our game plan and approach just changed entirely. There's a lot of ball passing around the back and then just hitting it long. Where did that come from? That's so weird. It's just hitting the channels or trying to play long, incisive balls from the deep being cut out and then defending again. It was very weird and very frustrating.
Yeah, lots of really deep crosses from our fullbacks as well, from Paka and Saliakas. And like, deep crosses are hard enough to get up your head on if you're fucking Harry Kane, but whenever you've got Aminieto and Dashner up there, like, what hope do they have?
Yeah, I couldn't understand, because I was doing the Bielefeld game, and they just kept trying to cross the ball, and it's like, stop crossing it to Dashner and Aminieto. They are ball to feet people.
Yeah,
they're not gonna. It's going to take something absolutely magnificent to put it on a platter for them. I mean, I'm sure they can head a ball, right? Like the professional footballers, but they're not going to Jackson Irvine it, right? So why do I even try? Just
and the two chances that fell to Jackson Irvine were both at his feet as well.
Yeah.
So whenever he gets into the box, we'll put it play it in low for the man who's scored 3 times with his head already this season. But whenever our strikers, our diminutive strikers, are in there, then we'll just fucking lump it up and see how they get on against 6'5" centre back.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. And yeah, I mean, the first chance for Jackson Irvine, the volley at the back post, it's very like instinctive, right? It was, I think he wasn't anticipating it, and he did well to get something on it, and it could have crept in. But I think he thought the defender was going to get it, or the attacker, so he wasn't.
Left foot as well. I think it was his weak foot.
Yeah. But then the second volley was so close.
Oh man, I know. And the keeper was rooted to the spot, so if it was on target, I think it was in. Unlucky there. But
what went wrong though? I mean, the goals that we conceded, Hartl gave the ball away in the middle, and it's a counter attack, and then nobody just picked up that. Was it Seka? Was that his name?
Yeah, well,
Seta.
Hartl
drilled it.
I mean, it's tough on Hartl because he's not known for this. You know, he rarely gives up possession in bad places. He's almost press resistant. So I'm not gonna lump on him.
You have a bad pass, that's fine. But
yeah, and I think Timo Schultz in the post match presser even said, okay, maybe he shouldn't have lost possession there, but we should have defended that better.
Yeah.
And the annoying thing is we had better chances than Bielefeld's for that first goal. Our first half chances were way better than that. But it was like sort of a ball through. He let it run across him. Didn't even take a first touch. His first touch just fucking rifled it into a bottom corner. And I don't think is there a player in our team who can do that? I'm not sure. And he came on as their sub, so they brought a striker off the bench and he scored 2 goals.
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times to us now. Wasn't it? The Dutch guy who came on, he scored as well. That's happening quite a lot. Do we just not pick up the? Or is our leg stamina not able to keep up with substituted strikers or something? It's a bit of a trend.
Yeah, well, if we do want to offer up some excuses for this loss, okay, like it wasn't a terrible performance. Obviously, it's super disappointing to get beat to the team here sitting bottom of the league, but there were 2 big matches beforehand.
Yeah.
They absolutely ran their bollocks off over the course of 120 minutes against Freiburg.
Both away games as well, so it's travelling as well.
Yeah, or we had a kind of a makeshift backline with Medic out injured and David Nemeth, and against Bielefeld that did cause problems. They really targeted Adam Sakala, and on that second goal, it was Fazlihi. His defending was a bit sus. He got beat. He lost his man.
Basically, right?
It was that he just sort of took his eye off his man. He just drifted in behind him, and the ball went over his head, and he headed it in for an easy one. But again, that defensive line is missing our 2 starting centre backs, and then obviously Smith just sort of was in that back 3 recently. So there are things you can point to or excuses you can look at for why that happened, but that doesn't really excuse this pattern that we've been seeing. Like I went into this match not expecting, but preparing to lose this,
Oh
because
wow, really?
it's the sort of
Okay.
match that, yeah, you'll see. I think I tweeted about it beforehand, saying this is the match that these are the type of matches that worry me the most. Because we always seem to underperform against weaker opposition. And I wanted to ask you, actually, why do you think that is? Was it because they just like lack motivation against what are considered smaller teams, or is it what we've discussed before about the style of play of the opposition and whether or not they sit deep?
Um, I don't know. I think we're unlucky. Like the Braunschweig game is the guy who came on and scored 2 goals for I was talking about earlier. And again, that was a case where they had very few chances, but they just took them. Right. So it could be luck. It could just be more efficient when they do get the chances. They're scoring, and that's the entire difference. It's not always a poor defending from us. It's just or poor goalkeeping or anything. I think we got over that because the first part of the season is a bit of a sticking point, right? But I think we're over that bit now. I don't want to say it's luck, but it sometimes just feels like where did this go wrong? Like, what did we do anything particular that was bad compared to normal? Is there anything that the opposition did better than us other than scoring? And that seems to be the only outcome, really.
I would suggest, I don't know, just a theory, that maybe there's a bit of like naivety in the squad about what it takes to win in this league, because they're all quite young and some of them are really new to the league. So it's not enough to dominate possession and pass a team to death and play them off the park. It's fine margins. If a striker's running through, you might have to fucking drag him back and take that yellow card.
That's true.
You might have to find a way to win.
Well, I think Schultz and the coaching staff, like they're very familiar with this league and stuff. So I think they're preparing them, and the message is very clear now that we can't afford to be naive or be lapse in our approach to any of the games coming up. So if that is the case, that we're taking the foot off the pedal against the lower teams like Bielefeld and Braunschweig and losing, that's not good, because we turned up against Haasval. Yes, they had a man sent off, but even prior to that, we're still playing very well. Freiburg turned up, played very well, lost. I guess the Darmstadt game will be a testament to that, because they're top of the league now.
Yeah, they are, and they're playing brilliant football as well. They're doing really well, but those aren't the matches that I tend to worry about.
Yeah.
It is. We'll probably show up, and I back us to beat them even.
Against Darmstadt, okay.
Yeah, I really do. It's just the games like against Bielefeld or Braunschweig. Those are the ones that I think we really have to be concerned about. It's just like
every game
management
concerns me at the moment.
That's fair. That's fair.
Shit, another game. Damn it.
Yeah.
But
I just think that, I don't know, and maybe it's unfair to say that the squad is naive, and there might be a bit of naivety in the coaching as well, just to think that, we can go out there and play our regular game, and because our style of football is better, on paper we have the better players, we're going to win. That might be a bit naive, and they might need a bit more game management to secure those 3 points, because at the end of the day, that's all that fucking matters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Coming away with it.
That's probably a good point, because that was evident in the second half of the Arminia Bielefeld game, right? It wasn't in the first half. We'd playing very well, we're creating chances, but we weren't finishing it, right? In the second half, we come out and we're awful, like just these long balls and no idea. There's no mixing. There's a huge gap between the defenders and the attackers. Midfield was almost a void. I think at one point Hart was chasing around, just trying to find some space in between the attackers and midfielders, and he got the ball and then just passed it back. And that is okay. You can do that to some extent, but we just can't constantly lump it forward as far as you can. The midfield needs to link up play, and we're very good at doing that most of the time, or using the wing backs most of the time. But yeah, we did. Second half we were awful.
But in saying that, like that was evident even before the first half ended. I think they were getting the better of us even for the last 10 minutes of that first half.
Yeah, that's true.
So
There's a
my
hack
question
guy,
is,
that hack guy for Arminia Bielefeld. Like he kind of grew into the game, and then he was holding Zaliakas hostage almost, right? He's holding him
yeah,
back because then Zaliakas couldn't venture forward because he had to keep half an eye on that hack guy.
exactly. And then they realized at some stage that they could get at that channel between Swakala and the fullback, and they
Yeah,
exploited that. But so that was evident even before halftime. Everybody's knackered after two big games. So why are we waiting to make changes? Not just in personnel, like that's a problem enough
yeah,
in itself. We waited. So in the first change came in 64th minute. Okay, Amanido comes out for Otto because Amanido had a bit of a stinker. But then the next substitutions don't come until the 81st minute. So if we have players out there who are running on fumes, um,
that's a good
why aren't we
point.
trying to make a change quicker and
Because
or
things
even
weren't
a
going
change of
well,
formation? They
right?
were
Because
not. It was evident to anybody who was watching that match. Um,
yeah,
to be fair, we don't know everything about the goings on behind the squad. Like it might be that some players were on the bench. I think Shula even said that he would have brought on Connor Metcalf earlier, but he had a bit of a knock. But then he did come on eventually, and he seemed to be fine. So
yeah,
who knows?
it's a tricky one because especially since Connor played so well against Freiburg, it didn't make sense for him to just get, what was it, 10 minutes, did you say, against Bielefeld? Yeah, he came on in the, geez, when did he come on?
81st, I think.
81st minute, yeah, 10 minutes, just, geez. Yeah, but
If I was to sum up this match, I would say it's frustrating.
one to forget.
And the reason why I say it's frustrating is because we had our chances and it could have been dead and buried if we had have just taken advantage of our dominance. The good news is that the word that comes to mind isn't hopeless because you can see that there's a team there, and that there's a team of good footballers. Like we are better than most of the teams in this league, I believe. We're still quite young, haven't played that much together. We got a great coach behind us. If there's just a couple of missing pieces, it might be that we haven't had our whole squad entirely fit at the same time. It might be that we just need one or two signings in January, namely a striker. But I have hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have hope, right? That's why we keep watching or turning up every week. Yes, we complain, but there's still the belief. Otherwise, you just do something else, right? But next season. But there's definitely hope there. We just need to start proving it now because there's potential, as you mentioned. But now it's okay, right? We know we're better than the other teams. We know that we've got better infrastructure, large fan base, etc., etc. But now it's time to start proving it, start getting the 3 points, getting the results. Because I don't know exactly how close we are to the relegation zone now, but
It's not looking good, man.
getting
I hate to say
scary.
it.
It's going to
And
be a
on
very,
that,
very, very scary run in next season. We're 2 points ahead of Sandhausen, who are in 16th place. We are just 4 points behind Greuther Fürth, who are in last position. So it's very, very close. But we're at 11 points behind HSV, who are in third.
yeah, it's brutal. And what do you think that we're just going to have to limp to the January transfer window and just sort of keep up the form we are now and just hover above that relegation zone until we get hopefully sign a striker who can score and just like pray to fucking bejesus that he comes in and shoots us up the league? Or do you think we can do it internally with the personnel we have?
I think we need that in January. So if there's someone in the market and we're able to afford them, then by all means, like throw the kitchen sink at it. Just give him what he needs to get in and get the goals. But the players that we have should be able to do it anyway. What's not working? Why you can't just add a goal scorer in and then he magically starts scoring? There needs to be the infrastructure. There needs to be the team dynamics for that to take place, right? Like if you went and put Harry Kane in Tranmere Rovers team, he's not going to score 30 goals a season, is he? Because we don't play very good football. We don't play to his strengths and stuff. So, yeah, we need to be setting. Well, I mean, we know that we can play. We have played well. We have scored goals.
Yeah.
It's hot and cold. So when we play well, we play well. When we don't play well, we're very bad. And there's just no link between the two. Like, there's no trend. There's no specific personnel. There's no specific. Maybe they need to change the playlist on the team bus or something. Maybe that's a defining factor. I don't know. It just seems like there's no.
And as you said about the hot and cold, or we're either good or we're shite. Yeah. That's not just game to game. That can fucking
within a 5-minute switch.
Yeah, right? Exactly. And you're just standing there like, what the fuck? And a lot of the times it'll be something that goes unseen. Like the opposition manager has made a small tweak and swapped a couple of players around. And we're just all sitting there like, what the fuck has happened to this match? It's all of a sudden going down the shitter.
Mind blown. They just moved a player from A to B. My God.
But it can have an impact. It's just like, but then it's up to us to counter that and come up with our own solution.
So I see you pointing the finger at Schultz and the coaching staff. Is that something the captain should identify and feedback as well and react accordingly?
No, that should be like the captain can, but ultimately it's the responsibility of the coach to recognise that. Sure. And they have smart people at like coaching that team. I'm sure they recognise it.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not their decisions to counteract it are correct or not. But I still have faith. I think we got a great coaching team there, but just have to wait for it all to come together.
Yeah, we're running out of time. I don't know how many games are left in this side of the Christmas, but it's fewer and fewer. Obviously, that's how football works. But so Darmstadt, we'll talk about in a second. Düsseldorf, then Kiel, then Karlsruhe. That's it. 4 games left until the winter pause. We're halfway through the season.
Nice.
And that's that. If we win all 4 of those, then it's a completely different story. Lose all 4, and it's a very depressing story. And at the moment, it's probably more leaning towards the losing or drawing them all.
And if you want to get even more depressed, I have a great new section for you called Depressing Statistics, just to get you in the right frame of mind for the upcoming match. I don't know. It's just I saw a few terrible statistics and felt like I needed to share. So 0 wins from home this season, pretty bad. And then all of those away matches in the league this year, we've conceded at least twice. Not great, I would say. 14 points in the league after 13 games. Not great. No. But an interesting one. So, maybe not quite so depressing, because we're playing Darmstadt next, who are a good team who like to have possession. I talk about this ad nauseum. We talked about it about HSV. I talked about it about Freiburg. We tend to do better against teams who also like to have possession. So we've only had possession less than the opposition in 3 league matches so far this season, and we've won all 3. That was against Nuremberg, Magdeburg, and HSV. So apparently the winning formula is let them have possession, which goes entirely against the style of football that we play. But sure, whatever works.
Football's a weird game sometimes.
I know, right?
Yeah, because I just checked as well, and we've not performed too well against Darmstadt in recent history either. So we've lost the last 2, won 1, and then lost the 3 after that. So we've won 1 in 6.
They've won 4 out of those 6 as well.
Yeah.
1 draw.
Yeah. So that's not a good sign either.
They have probably the best form in the league right now. They've only lost 1 match in the league all season, which was the first match. So they're shit hot.
That's
but Hasval were top whenever they came to Milan tour. We fucking slapped them 3-0 and sent them back to the suburbs. So
when did we play Paderborn again? They're not far off the top. Jeez, how are Paderborn second? This is crazy.
Paderborn came to the Milan tour and we were better than them. Well, they finished 2 each, didn't it? And we scored in the last minute.
Yeah.
But I thought we were the better team. And again, that seems
to be the results. That's the thing. It's a result-driven business, and you could be playing the best football, most glitzy football in the world, but if you're not winning games, then you don't get points.
Is right. So before we give our predictions for the Darmstadt match, a couple of bits of news we have here. Medic had shoulder surgery.
He's out for a while then.
He won't be back till after the winter break, which is a shame. Big miss. We're going to need our other centre backs to step up. Luckily we found one in our squad named Eric Smith, which is good.
Do we need another defender in the transfer window? We need a striker, yes. Do we need another defender?
I'd take a defender. I'd also take a couple of wingers just to give us something like a different dimension, because we don't have any fast, tricky wingers at the club. Nobody at the club can really beat a man.
Yeah, I was looking at the end of the Arminia Bielefeld game. Sorry, we'll get back to your thing in a second. And we changed it to 4-4-2 towards the dying stages, right? But we still kept the Pacarada left back, but had Ritzka left midfield. I would have switched that around, right? I'd have had Paca play left wing.
Ideally, you wouldn't have either of them in there. You know, you would have an actual fucking winger on the wing. That would be ideal. Just because if things aren't going our way, then and we need to switch formation, and you want to play a fucking 4-3-3 or something, then you can have natural wingers out there who can take on their fullback and whip balls into a striker who's not going to score. You know.
Oh man, yeah, fair enough.
So other than Medic, Hasval lost to Magdeburg. So if you want some good news, it looks like we might have been the catalyst to started their annual shit to bed. You know, they're top and flying, and then it all comes crumbling down. So if that all started because of their drubbing at the Milan tour, then happy days. At least that's something to cling on to.
Yeah, I'd have been a lot more joyous about it if we'd have won.
Ourselves,
flipped fortunes entirely. We start winning and they start losing. But no, we lost as well. So fuck it.
Well, hopefully we're back to winning ways at the weekend. Do you have a prediction for me?
Yeah, I think we're going to win 2-1. If we can keep the striker dude quiet, what's his name? The top of the league, Fife or something?
Oh,
Teats.
yeah.
He just seems to just keep scoring for them. Like even last year. But if we can keep him quiet, yeah.
And they've got a pretty solid midfield as well. Kempe, Tobias Kempe, he's got like 7 assists, and he scored 3 himself. That's pretty damn good.
Right. Well, there's Mano as well. He's got 4 and 4 goals, 4 assists. So we need to keep these guys at bay because we can't afford to get smashed at home.
Yeah, I think we'll do them because we're at home. That's where we get all our points, is at home. We're better against the good teams.
Do we just not like to travel? Do we have a shit team bus? Are we not paying first class tickets? What's the deal?
Who knows? Maybe they just miss hearing me singing from the stands. Must be it. Right, I'm gonna go. What did you go? 2-1?
2-1.
I
think we'll win as well. I think
I'll go 1-0.
1-0, okay.
1-0 to St. Pauli, obviously. I think we're going to win this.
A clean sheet again?
Yeah, with our makeshift back line. No, I really like Eric Smith back there.
Yeah. Is he... When's David Nemeth back?
I'm not too sure, actually.
I've not heard any news on that either. Because I think he and Svigala and Smith would be solid. Firstly, he does well sometimes, but always makes me... always feel very nervous. I don't know. Do you prefer Svigala or...
I think it is. I think you're right that it is between them two. Fazlihi and Svigala. I think the middle of the back three is Eric Smith to lose.
Yeah.
And Nemeth would walk straight back in, just because he's got so much potential as well. You know.
Yeah. But he should be alongside Smith. He shouldn't be in the middle with Svigala and Fazlihi and then Smith into midfield. That ship sailed. It's
especially with the fees, absolutely killing it in the centre of the park.
He was a bit off against Arminia Bielefeld. I guess he was a bit tired, but because he was cramping towards the end of the Freiburg game. So I think his legs were a bit tired because he's not been getting much game time. And I think in Bielefeld, he was just not what he has been the last two games.
I still think he showed enough positive signs to keep him in, because like his passing was a lot better than last year as well. He's still, and we can't ignore what he does on the regular. You know, just intercepting and making it difficult for the opposition in the middle of the park. I think he adds a lot. So I'd stick with him in midfield.
Yeah, I agree.
Alongside Hothall and Jacko. Let's just hope we can get it done. It's going to be an evening match, isn't it? Half 8 kickoff local time.
Yes, half 8 kickoff again.
I mean, those are the main matches that we relish. So let's go out there and fun.
Plenty of time to warm up for it, right? Because it's a nice Saturday evening, 8:30.
Yeah, so you might not get any of those in-match recordings off of me because
wasted.
I'd be a little bit sloshed. I'll try to remember. If anybody's listening, let me know if you would like me to do that again, or I don't even know if it was even listenable or all you heard was people screaming in the background.
No, we could hear it. We'll find out. We'll ask. Maybe do a tweet as well and ask. Like, should I hold back a beer or two so I can record something, or just go crazy and get bevied up?
I hope those listeners understand the sacrifices that I go through, and giving up a beer or two for those fucks.
Absolute hero.
I'll expect a medal in the post.
All right, sweet. I'll buy you a beer next time.
Nice one.
Sweet.
All right,
cool. Not much else going on. Really anxious and looking forward to the game on the weekend because foolishly believe that we can win it. And if we do, yay. If we don't, fuck. Because it's getting to that kind of stage now. 4 games to go before Christmas. I want at least 2 wins from those 4, otherwise I'll be very, very angry.
Yeah. Whichever way it goes, we'll be back next week. So we'll chat to you then.
But they know that we're stupid. That's it. All right, sweet. Take care. Thanks for tuning in.
Ciao.
Ciao.